Laqshya. The simple meaning of the word is ambitions, goals. Now, there are two ways in which you can look at the word Laqshya. The first is looking at it only as the ambition or goal, and hence working ruthlessly towards achieving those ambitions and goals. While you do that, go ruthlessly towards the achievement of your ambitions and goals, there are people who develop a lot of ego, ahankar, pride, anger, all in the course of getting something for themselves. And they can go to any extent to fulfill that ambition. It doesn't matter whether their act or the action or the decision that they have taken is right or wrong. So that kind of ambition, which leads to ego, pride, anger, usually leads to the creation of a villain, as we see in Indian mythology. And there is another kind of ambition which is not necessarily or completely related to self. It is meant to collaborate the energy of self with the greater world for greater good, where everybody can live happily together. And there is a collaborative environment, that is, there is a coordinated existence where everybody finds out their sustenance, where everybody can make sense of their existence in the world. There, the word ambition does not hold. It becomes the purpose of life. In the last post that I made, we were talking about Laqshya. And Laqshya, in mythological terms or in philosophical terms, especially in Hindu philosophy context, features as the purpose of life and not ambition. And time and again we have seen that when your Laqshya, when you have a Laqshya, or when you have a purpose of life, not necessarily you are chasing a goal, not necessarily you are ruthless towards getting certain things, and you can go to any extent. And I am repeating these again and again so that the difference is very clear. So when we are very clear about the purpose of our lives, there are a lot of things that are different from when we are ambitious. One is there are scopes of mistake. Because I can be very clear about my purpose of life, but I don't necessarily know the path that leads towards that purpose of life. So I will try to make different permutation combination. I will try different things in order to get it work out, and I will also work in a series of. I will also work under the influence of a series of favorable and adverse conditions, and I will have to make sense while featuring into all of it, and yet make sure that I am not intentionally harming, or I am not intentionally causing difficulty. I am not being unfair to another kind of existence. So that leads to the purpose of life. When you have a purpose of life, your scopes of making mistakes increases. But when you are ambitious, you want to be right every time, and that is an immense pressure on yourself, and that leads to a lot more wrongdoing. But when you are chasing, or you are clear about a purpose of life, you are open to making mistakes, because you know that eventually you will come towards the path of recovery. Secondly, there's a positive intent to make sense, there's a positive intent to make a difference in life. You are not compromising in that standard of correctness in your brain. It often happens with all of us that when a lot of people say that this should be done, or when I have seen a lot of people saying that these days kindness is not appreciated, so it's better to be rude, it's better to be like this. What they are doing is they are letting go of the goodness in themselves, because someone else has said or someone else has behaved in a way that that is not a, where they felt that it is not appreciated. So you are letting go of the goodness in yourself because it is not appreciated by someone else. So you are actually letting yourself fall from the standard that you felt was correct. And that is the reason you say that these days these things are not appreciated and so it's better to do this. You're compromising. And you know that you are doing that. Your subconscious knows. Thirdly, there is environment for learning. You're constantly learning from the failures, from the mistakes, and you are moving towards a more informed horizon. You are taking informed decisions. You are more clear about what you are talking about. All of these together leads to something called spiritual growth. Ambition, which led to self-growth. Here we are talking about the purpose of life, which leads to spiritual growth. Perhaps you know that I am writing a 5-book series called the Sati series, where Sati talks about women's purity, but actually Sati, the concept of Sati refers to the purpose of life. And let me come back to you in the next video telling you more about this purpose of life and Sati, the collaboration and the how the two are related. It's extremely interesting. Stay tuned.